Welcome to the Prescott Lab podcast, not just theory, practical science for everyone. If you're a man over 50 and you still believe that drinking plain water is keeping you healthy, then I need you to pause for a second because that innocent glass might not be as harmless as you think. In fact, after 50, it could be one of the reasons your energy feels low, your circulation slows down, and your strength, even your manhood, isn't what it used to be. Now, that may sound dramatic, but stay with me. What I'm about to share isn't fear-mongering, it's physiology. And it could change how you think about hydration for the rest of your life. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, a men's health specialist and former urologist with over 30 years of clinical practice helping men reclaim their confidence, energy, and drive. Over the years, I've seen a pattern repeat itself. Men who eat clean, exercise regularly, and drink plenty of water, yet still feel tired, foggy, or weak. Here's the part no one tells you. After 50, your body doesn't absorb water the way it used to. You can drink glass after glass, but if your cells can't use that water, you're not hydrating, you're just passing it through. That's why so many older men, despite doing everything right, still battle fatigue, muscle cramps, and poor circulation. You see, your kidneys, digestive tract, and even your sense of thirst start to slow with age. Your body becomes less efficient at keeping water where it's needed inside the cells. Plain water flows in, flows out, and leaves your system before it does any good. It's like trying to water a dried-out sponge. You pour and pour, but the water slides right off. And deep inside your muscles, your heart, and yes, even your reproductive system, your cells are left begging for hydration that never truly arrives. Now, here's the good news. You don't need expensive supplements or fancy electrolyte drinks. All it takes is one simple mineral added to your daily glass of water to switch your circulation back on. That small change can help your arteries relax, recharge your energy, and bring back the kind of steady vitality you haven't felt in years. I'll explain exactly which mineral that is in the next part, but before we go there, let's do something together. If this topic resonates with you, if you've ever wondered why your energy isn't what it used to be despite doing all the right things, then do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. Because when you hit that like button, you're not just supporting a channel, you're joining a community of men who refuse to accept decline as inevitable. You're saying, I'm still in the game. And let me tell you what I wish for every man who clicks that little thumbs up today. May your mornings feel lighter, the kind where you stand up and your body feels ready, not reluctant. May your mind stay sharp, that steady, focused energy that makes life feel clear again. And may your heart, both the one that beats in your chest and the one that drives your spirit, keep its strength for many years to come. Because I believe this, aging doesn't mean losing your fire. It means learning how to fuel it better. So before you keep watching, go ahead, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Every week, we dive deep into real science-backed methods to help men over 50 improve circulation, testosterone, sleep, and vitality naturally without gimmicks. And hey, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you still drink plain water every day? Type 1 if you do, type 0 if you've already started adding minerals or electrolytes. I'll be reading the comments personally, and in a later episode, I'll respond to a few right here on the show. Now that we've laid the foundation, let's go deeper into the truth about hydration and why the water you've been trusting all your life might be quietly failing you from the inside out. Stay tuned, because in part 2, I'll show you the science behind what I call electrical hydration, and how it can literally bring your body back online. When people hear the word hydration, they think of drinking more water. But what if I told you that water alone isn't what powers your body, electricity does? Let me explain. Your body isn't just a collection of organs and fluids. It's an electrical network, a living circuit, and every heartbeat, every muscle contraction, every thought that flashes across your mind depends on electrical impulses moving from cell to cell. Here's where it gets fascinating. Those impulses don't travel through water alone. They ride on tiny charged particles called electrolytes, minerals like magnesium, sodium, potassium, and calcium. These are the sparks that allow every signal in your body to connect, transmit, and function. When you were in your 20s, your body was like a freshly wired system, clean, efficient, fully charged. But once you hit your 50s and beyond, that electrical system starts to fray. The wires are still there, but the current weakens. You lose more minerals through sweat, urination, and even medication. Stress, alcohol, and processed foods drain them even faster. I remember one patient, Tom, a 62-year-old carpenter who came to me saying, "Doc, I drink a ton of water every day, but I still feel like I'm running on empty." His blood tests were perfectly normal. Nothing in his hydration levels looked off. But when we checked his electrolytes, magnesium, and potassium, sodium, he was running low across the board. His problem wasn't a lack of water, it was a lack of charge. He wasn't dehydrated, he was de-electrified. This is what I call electrical hydration. It's the process of restoring that current between your cells, not just filling your body with water, but giving that water the power to work. Think of it like this: if you pour water into a dead battery, nothing happens. But add the right charge, and the whole system comes back to life. That's exactly how your body works. Without those minerals, the water you drink just becomes dead weight. It sits, it swells, but it doesn't energize. And that's why so many older men feel bloated or fatigued after hydrating. The water stays around the cells, not inside them. It doesn't reach the places where it can restore vitality, your muscles, your brain, your heart, and yes, the blood vessels that fuel your manhood. When those electrical signals fade, your blood vessels stop responding the way they used to. Instead of expanding and contracting with precision, they become sluggish. As the heart works harder, your blood pressure fluctuates, and you lose that rhythmic pulse of vitality you once took for granted. But here's the good news: this is one of the easiest problems to fix. By reintroducing minerals into your water, magnesium, sodium, potassium, you literally turn the lights back on. Your cells start communicating again. Blood flows more efficiently. Your muscles respond faster. Your thinking clears up. I've watched men in their 60s feel years younger simply by doing this one thing: turning their water into an electrical conductor instead of a dead liquid. It's simple, science-backed, and incredibly powerful. Now, before we move forward, let's make one thing clear. This isn't about overcomplicating hydration. You don't need to measure every sip or count every mineral. What matters is balance, giving your body the small but essential charge it's been missing for years. So, let me ask you, when was the last time you truly felt awake after drinking water? Not just refreshed, but alive, like every cell in your body was switched on again. That's the difference electrical hydration makes. In the next part, we'll talk about the mineral that leads this charge, the one responsible for relaxing your blood vessels, easing your tension, and bringing back circulation like you haven't felt in decades. It's the quiet hero behind better sleep, calmer nerves, and yes, stronger performance, not just in the gym, but in life. Let's dive into that next. When men ask me, "Doc, if there's one mineral I should focus on first, which one would it be?" My answer never changes: magnesium. It's the foundation of what I call the relaxation system of your body. Every heartbeat, every nerve impulse, every muscle contraction, and yes, every erection depends on this single mineral doing its job quietly in the background. Yet it's the one most men over 50 are missing. Let me tell you about Edward, a 69-year-old retired police officer who came to me years ago. The man was tough, steady as they come. But he sat across from me one afternoon and said, "Doc, I feel tense all the time. My shoulders never relax. I'm drinking water, eating clean, but I still wake up tired. And honestly, even my private life feels off." His blood work told the story immediately: magnesium deficiency. See, magnesium isn't just another nutrient. The master switch of relaxation. It tells your blood vessels when to open and your muscles when to soften. It calms your nervous system, steadies your heartbeat, and balances your stress hormones. When magnesium runs low, everything tightens, your arteries constrict, your muscles cramp, and your mood becomes heavy. It's like driving with the brakes halfway on, you're burning energy, but you're not moving forward. That tension doesn't just live in your shoulders. It lives in your circulation. Now, your heart works harder to pump blood through stiff vessels, and the areas of your body that rely on smooth blood flow, your brain, your muscles, your reproductive organs, all start to feel the strain. Here's the wild part: most men don't even realize it's happening. They'll say, "I just feel older." But aging isn't the problem, depletion is. After 50, magnesium loss accelerates. You lose it through urine, sweat, stress, and even the very medications designed to help your blood pressure or cholesterol. Add to that the fact that our modern soil is stripped of minerals, and even the cleanest diet often falls short. But the solution is beautifully simple: give your body back what it's missing. I tell my patients to start their mornings with a glass of water infused with magnesium citrate or magnesium glycinate. These forms absorb easily and don't upset the stomach. Half a teaspoon of magnesium powder in your first drink of the day can change everything. Within a week or two, men report sleeping more deeply, waking up clearer, and feeling calmer throughout the day. Their blood pressure steadies. Their breathing slows, and for many, that spark in their physical performance, the one they thought was long gone, quietly returns. It's not a stimulant, it's not a magic pill. It's your body remembering how to relax again, how to breathe, flow, and function the way it was designed to. And when you relax your arteries, you restore your flow. When your flow returns, your energy rises. And when energy rises, your confidence follows. That's what magnesium does. It brings life back to your rhythm. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, that sounds simple enough, you're right, it is. But simple doesn't mean small. In the world of men's health, magnesium is the quiet giant, the mineral that turns fatigue into vitality, tension into balance, and age into experience. Still, magnesium isn't working alone. To truly rebuild hydration and circulation, it needs its counterpart, the mineral that controls how water moves in and out of your cells. The one most men fear because it's been labeled the bad guy for decades. I'm talking about sodium. And in the next part, we're going to set the record straight about salt, not the kind that bloats you, but the kind that keeps your blood flowing strong and your energy stable. Because once you understand the truth about sodium, you'll see that the right kind of salt doesn't hurt your heart. It actually helps it beat stronger. For decades, sodium has been treated like the villain of the story. Doctors warned about it, health magazines demonized it, supermarket shelves filled up with low-sodium everything as if salt itself were a ticking time bomb. But the truth, my friend, is far more nuanced and far more surprising. Sodium isn't your enemy, it's your gatekeeper. It controls how water enters and exits your cells, how your blood pressure stabilizes, and how your muscles and nerves communicate. Without it, water can't do its job. It flows through your body but never truly stays. Let me tell you about Alan, a 67-year-old retired pilot who came to see me after months of unexplained fatigue. He prided himself on his discipline: no processed food, no junk, gallons of water every day. "I'm doing everything right, Doc," he said, "so why do I feel like I'm fading?" When I checked his numbers, his blood pressure was unusually low. His heartbeat irregular. His muscles cramping at night. The answer was crystal clear: he was sodium deficient. See, Alan had gone all in on the salt is bad mantra. He'd stripped it completely out of his diet. And what happened? His body lost its ability to hold on to the water he was drinking. Every sip passed right through him like a leaky bucket. His cells were starving for hydration even as he drank liters a day. Here's the irony: too little sodium can be just as dangerous as too much. Your body relies on a precise sodium balance to maintain fluid volume, blood pressure, and nerve function. Without it, your blood loses its stability, circulation slows, energy dips, and that familiar foggy, drained feeling starts creeping in. But here's the catch, not all salt is created equal. The refined white salt you find in processed foods is stripped of its natural minerals. It's just sodium chloride, harsh, dehydrating, and inflammatory when consumed in excess. The kind of sodium your body needs comes from unrefined sources. Sea salt, Celtic salt, or pink Himalayan salt. These contain over 80 trace minerals that help your body absorb water efficiently and maintain its electrical charge. When I had Alan start adding just a pinch of unrefined salt to his morning glass of water, things began to change within days. His dizziness eased, his muscles relaxed. His energy started to return. He wasn't chasing hydration anymore, his body finally learned to hold it. That's what sodium does. It gives your water staying power. It keeps your blood volume strong so your heart doesn't have to overwork. It allows your cells to exchange nutrients smoothly. And when balanced with magnesium and potassium, it creates an internal rhythm that keeps your energy steady from morning to night. You know that feeling of being off, not sick, not tired, just off? Sometimes it's not age, it's not stress. It's your internal chemistry whispering, I'm out of balance. And that's what this whole series is about, helping you tune that balance again. Now, before you rush to grab the salt shaker, let's be smart. If you have high blood pressure or heart concerns, talk to your physician first. The goal isn't to overload your system with sodium, it's to restore precision. Start small, a pinch of natural salt in your morning water or lightly seasoning your meals with unrefined varieties. The difference? Within a week, you may notice warmer hands and feet, a steadier pulse, and that quiet sense of energy that makes you want to move again. Sodium isn't about bloating or water retention, not when used right. It's about balance, stability, and hydration that actually reaches your cells. And when you pair sodium with its natural partner, potassium, you unlock the next level of electrical harmony inside your body. Potassium is the counterweight, the calm conductor that keeps your heartbeat steady and your blood pressure smooth. It's the mineral that ensures your system doesn't just hold water, it flows with it. And that's exactly where we're heading next. If sodium is the gatekeeper that lets water into your cells, then potassium is the calm conductor that keeps everything in rhythm once it's inside. It's the mineral that tells your heart when to beat, your muscles when to contract, and your blood vessels when to relax. Without it, your internal orchestra starts to lose its timing and your body feels the discord. Let me tell you about James, a 72-year-old former engineer who came to see me a few years ago. He lived with a precision most men envy, tracked his calories, stayed active, took his vitamins, and cut out processed foods. Yet something didn't add up. He was constantly tired. His heartbeat felt irregular, sometimes too fast, sometimes slow. "Doc," he said quietly, "I'm doing everything by the book, but it feels like my system is out of tune." And he was right. His potassium levels were low. See, potassium isn't flashy. It doesn't make headlines. But it's the mineral that keeps your inner rhythm alive. It balances sodium. When sodium pulls water into the bloodstream, potassium helps pull it into your cells. The two work in perfect partnership, like the inhale and exhale of hydration. When that balance breaks, you start to feel it in your energy, your focus, and your circulation. Here's what happens inside your body. Without enough potassium, sodium takes over. Your blood vessels tighten, your pressure rises, and your heart has to work overtime just to keep things moving. Your cells, especially muscle and nerve cells, become less responsive, less alive. That's when cramps start showing up. Fatigue creeps in, and you begin to feel like your strength fades faster than it used to. Most men over 50 are running on a potassium deficit and don't even realize it. Modern diets make it almost impossible to keep up. Processed foods are loaded with sodium but nearly void of potassium. Add in coffee, alcohol, stress, and the natural decline that comes with age, and you've got a perfect storm of imbalance. But the fix is surprisingly straightforward. Start by eating more potassium-rich whole foods. Avocados, spinach, beans, lentils, oranges, and yes, the humble banana. These foods don't just feed you, they charge you. For many men, though, food alone isn't enough, especially if you sweat often, take diuretics, or use medications for blood pressure, all of which deplete potassium. In those cases, a small electrolyte blend with potassium, magnesium, and trace minerals can make a world of difference. I usually tell my patients, mix half a scoop of electrolyte powder into your water once a day, ideally after exercise or in the afternoon when energy dips. That's not just hydration, that's cellular restoration. Within a week or two, you may notice your heart rhythm steadies, your muscles feel smoother, your blood pressure evens out. Even your mood lifts because potassium doesn't just affect your body, it calms your nervous system too. It's remarkable how such a quiet mineral can have such a loud effect on your vitality. You know that feeling when you wake up and your body just clicks, no heaviness, no fog, just a steady flow of energy. That's what proper potassium balance feels like. Not a jolt, a rhythm. Not a boost, a return to natural harmony. And harmony is exactly what aging men need most. But there's another piece to this puzzle, the one that turns this internal balance into outward vitality. Because while magnesium relaxes, sodium stabilizes, and potassium harmonizes, there's one mineral that reignites the fire itself, the masculine drive, energy, and spark that many men think is gone for good. That mineral is zinc. It's the cornerstone of testosterone production, immune strength, and recovery. And when it's missing, even perfect hydration can't bring your power back. So, in the next part, we're going to talk about zinc, the mineral of vitality, the one that reignites your strength from the inside out. Every man knows what it feels like when his fire starts to dim, not just in the physical sense, but deep in the spirit. That steady spark of drive, confidence, and focus that once came so naturally begins to flicker. When that happens, I tell my patients, check your zinc. Zinc is what I call the spark mineral. It's small, silent, and invisible, but without it, every system tied to your masculinity begins to slow. Testosterone drops, recovery lags, motivation fades, and even your immune system starts working half as hard as it used to. I remember Edward, a 69-year-old former football coach, sitting in my office one morning. He looked at me and said, "Doc, I feel like someone flipped a switch off. My body still moves, but my mind and mood aren't following." His labs told me everything. His testosterone was low and his zinc levels were nearly non-existent. You see, zinc is the raw material your body uses to make testosterone. And testosterone is more than just a sex hormone. It's a signal of vitality. It shapes your mood, your confidence, your muscle strength, and even how your brain fires under pressure. Without enough zinc, your body's testosterone factory simply runs out of supply. It can't keep the rhythm. And when testosterone dips, the whole system slows: blood flow, stamina, recovery, even clarity of thought. That's why so many men tell me, "I'm eating healthy, sleeping well, exercising, but I still feel off." They're missing the ignition mineral. Zinc doesn't just drive hormones, it also protects your prostate, supports sperm health, and strengthens your immune defenses. It's like the quiet mechanic inside your body, fine-tuning the machinery so everything runs smoothly and efficiently. But here's the modern problem: zinc is hard to absorb, and most diets barely deliver enough. Overprocessed foods, aging digestion, alcohol, and even stress can deplete it faster than your body can replace it. Most men try to fix this by taking a tablet, but here's the catch. The gut of a 60-year-old man doesn't absorb zinc from pills the same way it did at 30. That's why I recommend liquid zinc or zinc glycinate mixed into your water once a day. It bypasses the digestive barriers and goes straight into your bloodstream where it belongs. Within a few weeks, the changes can be subtle but profound. You wake up earlier, not groggy but ready. You move through your day with that quiet hum of energy again. Your mood steadies. Your focus sharpens. And yes, your performance in every sense of the word feels alive again. Because zinc doesn't just fuel testosterone, it amplifies communication between your brain and your body. When you restore zinc, your nervous system starts firing clean signals again. The fog lifts. The confidence returns. You stop surviving and start living. I've seen this transformation too many times to call it coincidence. Men in their 60s rediscovering the vitality they thought was gone forever, not through extreme routines or supplements that promise miracles, but by simply giving the body back what time quietly took away. Now, zinc doesn't work alone. It's part of a powerful network: magnesium for relaxation, sodium for balance, potassium for rhythm, and one final mineral that ties them all together. That last one doesn't spark your hormones, it powers your blood. It gives oxygen its ride, color, and purpose. It's the difference between running on fumes and running on fire. I'm talking about iron, the element of life itself. And in the next part, we'll talk about why oxygen isn't just about breathing, it's about energy, stamina, and the pulse of youth that still lives inside you, waiting to be reawakened. So stay tuned, because the best part of this journey, the part where your blood, your strength, and your energy come full circle, is just ahead. You know, one of my favorite parts of doing this show isn't sitting here lecturing about science. It's hearing from you. Because when men talk honestly about their health, not the polished version, not the I'm fine version, but the real stuff, that's where change begins. So today I want to do something different. Let's take a few questions and comments that came in after the last few episodes. Some made me smile, some made me think, and one or two, well, let's just say they gave me a good laugh over my morning magnesium water. Question 1, Dr. Prescott, are you saying plain water is dangerous now? Come on. Mark 64, good question, Mark, and no, plain water isn't dangerous. It's just incomplete. Think of it like driving your car with the right fuel but no oil. You'll get a few miles down the road, but eventually friction wins. After 50, our bodies lose that fine-tuned ability to use water efficiently. That's the friction I'm talking about. Add back the minerals and suddenly the engine hums again. Question 2, I'm on blood pressure medication. Should I really be adding salt to my water? Thomas, 71, the million-dollar question. First rule, always follow your doctor's advice about sodium limits. But here's the nuance: we're talking about natural, unrefined salt, not the bleached table stuff hiding in processed foods. Just a pinch of sea salt or Himalayan salt can actually stabilize your blood pressure by improving hydration efficiency. I tell my patients, balance, not excess. Question 3, why not just drink a sports drink? They have electrolytes too. Gary, 59, fair point, Gary, but here's the problem. Most of those bottles are loaded with sugar, dyes, and chemical preservatives. They might hydrate your tongue, but not your cells. When you make your own mineral water, magnesium, a pinch of natural salt, maybe a little potassium, you're giving your body exactly what it needs without the garbage. Think of it as the grown man's Gatorade. Question 4, you make this sound almost magical. Are you sure this isn't just placebo? Paul, 66, Paul, I love a healthy skeptic because skepticism means you're still thinking. And no, this isn't placebo. You can measure it. Electrolyte balance changes nerve conductivity, muscle tone, vascular resistance, things you can see on a monitor, not just feel in your gut. But I'll tell you what is magical. The moment an older man realizes that aging isn't punishment, it's simply feedback. Question 5, all right, doc, what's your own morning routine? Henry, 73, glad you asked, Henry. My mornings are simple. I start the day with warm water, a pinch of sea salt, and a half teaspoon of magnesium glycinate. Then I step outside. Barefoot for 2 minutes, that grounding helps regulate my circadian rhythm, and I take 3 slow breaths before I even check my phone. It's not just about hydration, it's about presence. If you start your day calm, the body follows. Question 6, this all sounds great, but is it too late for me? Richard, 78. Richard, let me answer that one the way I answer every man who asks me that question. If you can still breathe, it's not too late. Your body is an adaptive masterpiece. It doesn't matter if you're 40, 60, or 80, your cells are waiting for the signal to start working with you again. Give them the right minerals, the right fuel, and a bit of patience, and they will respond. So to everyone listening, keep sending your questions. I read every single one, and if you haven't left one yet, here's your homework. Type your age, your biggest health frustration, and what you want me to cover next. Maybe it's fatigue, blood pressure, or performance. Whatever it is, write it down. And before we move on, if this conversation gave you a spark, if you learned something or just felt seen, do me a favor, hit that like button. Not because it feeds the algorithm, but because it tells me you're out there still learning, still fighting for your best self. All right, let's get back to the science. We've talked about the spark, zinc. Now, it's time to talk about the engine, the mineral that carries oxygen, fuels your strength, and keeps your blood alive. That mineral is iron, and it's not just about energy, it's about keeping your heart, your brain, and your manhood fully oxygenated. Let's dive into that next. There's something deeply poetic about iron. It's the mineral that gives your blood its red color, your body its power, and your heart its rhythm. Every drop of blood that moves through your veins carries oxygen because of this one element, the silent engine that turns breath into life. I often tell my patients, you can live without coffee, without supplements, even without sugar, but you cannot live 1 second without oxygen. And oxygen's ability to reach your cells depends entirely on iron. Let me introduce you to Frank, a 74-year-old retired Navy officer. The man was a machine in his youth, strong, disciplined, the kind who'd run 5 miles before breakfast. But one day he came to see me and said, "Doc, I still take my walks every morning, but I get winded halfway through. My muscles ache faster and my head feels foggy. I can't push through like I used to." When we checked his labs, the answer was clear. His hemoglobin, the oxygen-carrying protein in red blood cells, was low and his iron stores were nearly depleted. He wasn't broken. He wasn't getting old. He was running on half a tank of oxygen. That's the hidden truth about aging. It's not always about time. Sometimes it's about supply. You see, iron sits at the heart of every red blood cell, binding oxygen and carrying it to your muscles, brain, and heart. And when levels drop, the consequences sneak in quietly. You feel fatigued, you lose endurance. Your focus blurs, your skin looks pale, your hands and feet turn colder. And intimacy, that too begins to fade because the same oxygen that powers your heart also fuels your manhood. Most men never see it coming. They think fatigue means poor sleep or that their shortness of breath means they are just getting older. But more often than not, it's a lack of oxygen delivery, a silent slowdown at the cellular level. Now, before you go racing to buy an iron supplement, let me give you the golden rule. Test first, supplement second. Iron is essential, but too much of it can be just as harmful as too little. It's a delicate balance. If your doctor confirms low hemoglobin or ferritin, the best way to restore your levels is through gentle, bioavailable forms like iron bisglycinate or liquid iron, ideally paired with vitamin C to enhance absorption. One of my favorite tricks: mixing a small dose of liquid iron into a glass of mineralized water, the same water we've been building together throughout this series. Why? Because the minerals you've been adding, magnesium, sodium, potassium, zinc, actually help iron circulate and reach the tissues that need it most. Within a few weeks, many men describe the same thing: breathing that feels deeper, steps that feel lighter, thoughts that feel sharper. It's not hype, it's oxygen, flowing again freely, powerfully. Iron doesn't just strengthen your body. It rekindles your presence, that steady sense of being alive, grounded, and capable. You begin waking up not to exhaustion, but to possibility. When Frank came back a month later, his face was fuller, his posture taller. He smiled and said, "Doc, I didn't realize how dim I'd gotten until the lights came back on." That's exactly what oxygen does. It's the light inside your blood. And here's what's fascinating. When iron works hand in hand with magnesium, sodium, potassium, and zinc, your entire system reaches what I call functional hydration. Not just wet cells, but alive cells. Cells that breathe, exchange, and communicate like they did decades ago. That's the formula for vitality, circulation, oxygen, and energy working in harmony. It's the rhythm of youth rediscovered, but we're not done yet, because understanding the science is one thing, living it is another. In the next part, I'll bring everything together, the minerals, the water, the rhythm, into one daily practice you can start right away. Something so simple, yet so effective, it can make every morning feel like a quiet renewal of strength and purpose. It's time to close this circle and discover how to transform your water and transform your life. When I look back over 3 decades of working with men who built businesses, fought wars, raised families, and carried the weight of the world on their shoulders, I've noticed something powerful. Vitality doesn't fade because time wins. It fades because we stop giving our bodies what they truly need to live, not just survive. And the simplest, most overlooked place to start that restoration is right there in your glass. You see, water is more than a habit. It's your body's daily conversation with life itself. Every sip you take sends a signal through your bloodstream, telling your cells to move, to breathe, to connect. But after 50, that conversation starts to break down. The messages get garbled, the circuits weaken, until you give water back its charge. When you restore minerals, you're not just hydrating, you're reawakening your body's internal language. Magnesium teaches your blood vessels to relax. Sodium gives your cells the strength to hold hydration. Potassium balances the flow. Zinc reignites your drive and confidence. And iron, the oxygen engine, fuels every heartbeat with new life. Together, they don't just quench thirst, they turn water into energy, clarity, and renewal. That's not poetry, that's physiology. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s regain that quiet fire, the kind you can't fake. They didn't need extreme diets or another round of medications. They simply learned how to charge their water and feed their flow. Because your body isn't broken, it's just waiting for the right signal to turn back on. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 3 weeks, I want you to transform your water. Start every morning with a glass of life, not just liquid. Half a teaspoon of magnesium citrate or glycinate. A pinch of unrefined salt, sea or Himalayan. A small dose of potassium blend if you have it. A few drops of liquid zinc or a gentle supplement. That's it. Simple, precise, powerful. Do it every day, not as a chore, but as a ritual. Drink it slowly. Feel it move through you. Because what you're doing isn't just hydrating, you're giving your body back its electrical pulse. And within a few weeks, you'll notice it, the subtle but unmistakable difference. Your mornings will feel lighter. Your mind clearer. Your heart stronger. You'll walk differently, not faster, but more certain. That quiet confidence that says, I'm not done yet. Now, before we close today, I want to ask you for one thing. If this message resonated, if it gave you a spark, or reminded you that you still have more life to live, do me a favor, hit that like button right now. Because when you do, you're not just clicking a button, you're sending a message into the world. That strength doesn't have an age limit. That vitality isn't owned by the young. That a man can rebuild at any stage from any place if he chooses to start. And here's what I wish for you from one man to another. May your blood flow steady and strong, carrying life through every corner of your body. May your mornings feel clear and calm, as if your heart and your mind are finally in sync again. And may you always remember that your worth isn't measured by years, but by how deeply you choose to live them. So drink deeply, live fully, and stay consistent. Because water alone sustains life, but mineralized water amplifies it. It turns fatigue into focus, routine into ritual, and age into experience. If this journey meant something to you, share it with a brother, a friend, a fellow traveler in this season of life. Because every share might reach someone who needs it most, someone who's forgotten what it feels like to feel alive. And finally, tell me in the comments, which mineral are you starting with tomorrow morning? Well, your answer might be the spark that inspires another man to take that same first step. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott. Thank you for spending this time with me, for showing up, for choosing renewal, for choosing life. Stay hydrated, stay hopeful, and as always, stay powerful. I'll see you in the next episode.